Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the debut Helfró record entitled, it's self-titled, it's called Helfró. These guys are a two-piece blackened death metal band hailing from Reykjavík, Iceland, and this is their first studio-length album. Both members have ties to the technical death metal band coming from Iceland, Ophidian I, and specifically Ragnar S, who handles the songwriting, the drum work, and the vocal work on this record, has had his hand in quite a bit of underground black metal and death metal from the Iceland area. And taking into account the influence of both members coming from Ophidian I, the technical death metal influence does come in sporadically. The seed, that bit of influence, it does sprout. It can be subtle, it can be the type of thing that you would miss. Many of these tracks at the end of the day do amount to Ragnar performing some very glacial black metal shrieks alongside walls of blast beats and evil corrupted sounding melodies. Like the very first track has a very consistent melody that does play throughout the entire runtime. It's melodic but in quite a doom and gloom type of way. It's almost Victorian in tone. But I do want to highlight the instrumental slowdown around the 2-minute mark. The guitars do become considerably more chuggy around this section, and the drums have a pattern that are quick but not nearly as quick as many other patterns on this record, and the vocals turn into a layered growl that burrows its way into your ears. This lasts for over a minute, and it does add quite a bit of character to this track, and that's how I feel about a lot of the tracks here. It's like these little moments of clarity where they'll throw something into the melting pot just to see if it sticks, and in turn it ends up boosting the track to a pedestal that it wasn't previously on, making it a little bit more unique, and that is enough to make these tracks stand out from one another. And that's not all, because categorizing these guys simply as black metal, which I have seen, is just too easy. On track number 2, which I will spare you the pronunciation of, as I will for the rest of this record, I do not pretend to know how to pronounce everything in the world, and I don't want to make myself look like a fool and probably offend anyone from Iceland that is watching this. The track is cut from the same cloth, only it is reversed, I'd say. It starts off with more of a death metal centric groove and cycles between the two of black metal and death metal periodically throughout the track. You get the echo church type singing refrains with a lonesome distant drum hanging in the backdrop in one ear. It reminds me of something Ghost would do, only maybe a little less campy and a little bit more black metal. This has more of a raw tone, and it's not as saccharine sounding as some of the campy refrains that Ghost will do on occasion. And no disrespect to Ghost, I do enjoy them, I just want to make that comparison clear. And track 4 features some of the most death metal and tech death moments on the entire record, and they make it clear as day. Despite having some shortcomings when it comes to the songwriting front of uniqueness, not to mention I would say general individuality, these little shots of technicality when a riff will spaz out a bit, or when the mixing will hit a bit of an uncertain tone, or say the vocals will switch up in an interesting way on a track, or layer to a disgusting effect, if not a terrifyingly gruesome and monstrous type of effect, it does make this record have a little bit more flavor than it might have possessed otherwise. And don't get me wrong, there are some straight bred black metal tracks on this record. Track 3 thrusts you right into the black metal. It doesn't even wait, it's an instant track, and it goes for almost 4 minutes of material, and it's pretty status quo, I would say, overall. It is a barn burner though, it has an intense level of energy to it, and the instrumental reminds me quite a bit of Mayhem. And the Mayhem-isms don't stop there. It seems like Mayhem had a gigantic influence on the band from what I hear, and just generally, I hear a lot of the Norwegian black metal scene bleeding through in their sound in a pretty strong way. I would say Immortal fans would also have some common ground with this record. This is quite a solid debut from these guys. I think the repetition is very lavish, and although there aren't too many layers of complexity, it is a healthy combination of multiple styles of black metal and death metal that overall amount to a pretty satisfying listen that is pretty cohesive and gets in and out before it becomes too much. Overall, I'm going to be giving this album a 7 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new self-titled Helfró record? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss a record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morris, the review guy, and I'm signing off saying, maybe we could both explore this star is wrong.